videos would be at least at like 100K like per view, like views, and
Or we would be getting more than like 100 likes.
Yeah.
Even when we had like 2,000 followers, I remember having like 700 likes per post.
Yeah, it's weird.
How is it like now that I'm at over 20K, I'm suddenly struggling to hit even 200, 300 likes sometimes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Just One Bite. I'm Psycho Food. Oh, I should have probably introduced. My name's Nina. Okay.
Hey, Psycho.
Hi. Hi, Take.
Hi, I'm Tiff at Take One for the Road.
And yeah, we're so super excited because we are gonna talk about our failure to reach 100K on Instagram.
Yeah, we're failures.
Yeah, I feel we wanted to do some like a flip because I think we always see people like do like how to grow to a 10K, but then we have been kind of around for a while, I would say, and I feel like we're pretty much at the same numbers.
I know. I literally have not grown on Instagram in 2 years.
Yeah, same. I mean, I think like right now as this like episode is, I think I'm around 35K and then you're around like
I'm at 21.
Yeah, but Tiff and I have literally been at that like these numbers for like the entire year, and then I'll admit I had been losing some followers.
I know.
Too.
I lost 100. I used to be at 21.1.
Yeah, I was at 35.5, and then look at us now.
Why'd you guys unfollow us? Huh?
I think it's Instagram.
We have beef now.
No, I know, seriously, but I feel like it's been such a struggle to just like grow like
it's
on Instagram.
Different.
Totally.
From when we first started, it was so easy to grow, and now it's like I'm like pulling teeth over here. I don't know what to do to grow.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have our ways of how we reached up until the point we now, and at least we're grateful to like at the platform that we have, but for some reason after we hit that 10K mark, the rate of growth is just super slow, and yeah, I guess it's kind of disappointing too when you see like other people who have probably just started and then they're growing like super fast, but then if you've been around doing content creation like for a really long time, it's like, okay, what can I do now? Because I've been here like longer, but obviously like kudos to them too, because a lot of people out there have really great content, but then I don't know if it was like a plus or a minus for starting earlier.
I feel like we're being punished almost. Like all of, just talking to some of our friends who started around the same time as us, we've all just stopped. We've like hit a wall. We stopped growing, and we all make great content. The videos are very entertaining, very informational. So I'm not sure
how like
why the algorithm is doing what it's doing.
Maybe we can talk about first how we saw like the Instagram platform before, or just like we're specifically talking about Instagram first because that's the platform that we mainly started on, and then we grew to other platforms and spread to like YouTube and TikTok and whatnot. But then with Instagram, I feel like when we started it was around COVID, so then we didn't even really have reels at the time.
Yeah, it was just pictures.
Yeah, pictures were doing so well, and I feel like everyone was pretty aesthetic back then.
Yeah.
Like, we had some really good like food pictures. Like everyone would take pictures with the food, and it was very like.
It was fun.
Yeah,
I miss
it was
those
cutesy.
days. Yeah, cutesy.
Yeah, and now I think and back then too, it was just like the video tab or something, and IGTV.
Yeah, you can just make a video, but it would just it wasn't a reel.
Yeah. So now, and back then it was like the Instagram TV. Yeah. And then they had like the horizontal, which is funny because I think that's what TikTok had reverted to, because they wanted to do horizontal like in the recent years, but then back then in like 2017 or whatever, Instagram didn't want to do like videos at all.
Everyone's just like taking turns.
Yeah. And then I think too, like everyone was in COVID, so it was easier to engage because everyone was at home stuff.
Had more free time.
Yeah.
Now I feel like a lot of people who were on during COVID aren't even on social media anymore, or they kind of like
they just disappeared. Yeah.
They stopped using it. So I feel like maybe it's because a lot of maybe our followers no longer use their accounts. They're deactivated, and maybe that's why it's hurting our engagement. I don't know.
I could see that because everyone that we like knew before maybe started like a different path in life, and then they're not as active as we are maybe on social media.
Yeah.
But then I think when Reels came around, I feel like if you embarked on that like really early on, then your content would probably take off sooner. But then even in this like runt of us doing Reels and stuff, I feel like there was a point where from my like maybe 10-15K to like 35K, there was a point where I felt like I was doing really well, and then like my videos were like hitting like way more than my own like following count, just because I was hitting like a really good ride of the algorithm. So like all my videos would be at least at like 100K like per view like views, and
or we would be getting more than like 100 likes.
Yeah.
Even when we had like 2,000 followers, I remember having like 700 likes per post.
Yeah, it's weird.
How is it like now that I'm at over 20K, I'm suddenly struggling to hit even 200, 300 likes sometimes.
I think like accounts that are generally under like 5K, usually their engagement rate is really good, because then they have people that are like probably specifically following them. They're actually like maybe their friends and people who would more likely engage for them to reach like 2 to 5K. But then after that, I guess 5K or 10K mark, that's when you start getting people that you might not necessarily know, like just general people who might want to follow you and stuff. So it might not always be your like friends anymore. So then if you think about it, the engagement rate is getting like wider, I guess, because all those people who are following you initially, they're probably composing of like 50%, right? Because you're at like 2K. But then when you reach 10K, then that's going to be like what, like 20%.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the disparity when you like grow bigger, because your community isn't like as like close knit as before. But then now when you're getting bigger, it's like you have a bigger platform, but then it's harder to like reach your own audience.
Get a wider reach. No, I agree.
Yeah, so I guess what would you say is like some of the more like hardships or hard ways of finding out of what content doesn't really do well for you, and then what are the content that does really well for you, like on your page?
I feel like, okay, this is so sad. I feel like the videos that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into, they get like 1 view, and that 1 view is me.
And then second view, me.
Thanks, Nina. And then it's like let's say like TikTok or Instagram, like actually maybe TikTok, like it's the videos that where I don't try, or I'm just being really silly and ridiculous.
People
that I don't
eat that up.
Yeah, people love that stuff, and I'm just so confused, and I'm like, I'm working so hard over here to like provide content that's like educational or informational, or like places that you can like go eat and travel. But when it's like me putting together something silly like a parody of Victorious with Trina
people
from Chicago,
love that
they
stuff.
love that. They love when I did the like hot pot rave, because it was just like so silly and crazy.
It's like the out of pocket almost stuff.
Like a little, the stuff that's like unhinged, right?
Yeah, unhinged is the better word.
Yeah.
I feel like you do really well at like those videos where it's like a dialogue and then you're speaking and it's something relating to that.
Like a trend.
Yeah.
Of some sort,
and then it has to, but I do see that skits and stuff are doing like really well, especially like in the food scene.
Should we start doing skits?
I know. I mean,
we kind of already do. With the
we
Sweet
did
Life
our
stuff.
Sweet Life and Snack and Cookie.
People love that stuff.
I know. Maybe we need to make it like our own segment, like an actual like segment on
the Sweet
Instagram.
Life of Nina.
Yeah, and then we just like go to a restaurant with the wigs, and that would be like our thing. We could do that.
I have the wigs right there. We're gonna go. Okay,
she's got the wigs right in the bag. We're gonna
Yeah,
consistently talk about these wigs. It's so funny. Like I think in each episode so far that we filmed, we've like talked about these wigs.
They're just iconic.
I know, but anyways, like I think you do really well with those content where like it's the audio has a dialogue, but it's so hard to like find a specific quote or something from like a movie or like a show.
I think I'm just doom scrolling all the time.
And you just save it?
Yeah, if I come upon something that I'm like, oh,
I could do that.
like this audio, like I don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but I'm gonna save it because I think later on an idea will hit me and I can somehow make it relatable to the audio.
Yeah, maybe I should be better at that because I don't really save a lot of audios that are dialogue because I'm always generally saving music because I'm actually trying to find music that's longer than sometimes 30 seconds.
Yes, for your vlogs, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is so short. I can't use this for my video.
Yeah.
And like even the other day I posted this video. I think it was like when I went to like the self photo studio and then I realized that the SZA song only cuts off like 30 seconds and I thought it was gonna do the whole song on Instagram, but it like trickles off into a fade at the end and I was like, oh my god, there's literally like 20 seconds of like nothing, and I just didn't know that this SZA audio, it's like the actual SZA audio.
Oh, that's so weird.
I know, but yeah, that one, it's so hard to find
audio's
that
tricky, and we're talking about like trending audios, you know, because like if we wanted any other audio, that's easy to find something long, but finding trending audio that lasts more than 30 seconds,
it's so hard.
It is very
sometimes
difficult.
I wish I can like make it myself because it's so
I mean, you do have a DJ boyfriend. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, my phone is
go for it. I was like, who is ringing at this hour?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
This out.
No, but literally I was like looking for it, but the audios that I see that I like to use are the ones that are like like it's like those cutesy audios, and then it's like the title of the audio is like boba or something.
Oh yes,
like the kawaii ones or like the coffee lo-fi ones.
Yes,
I always
I
use.
like those too.
Yeah, and those are always long. It's like there's this girl who always, it's like Princess Kitty Cat or something. I don't know. It's like if you look at one of the audios that I have, I probably am using it, but I like those audios because they're long. But then the audios that I thought before, they said that if you use an audio that's between like 20 to like 90K before it gets like really popping at like 100K, I think they said that those are usually really good, but I don't believe that shit. I'll be on. I don't believe that crap. I don't believe it because they said that anything that's under 10K doesn't really do well, like for audios. Really? But then some of the audios that I've been using that are like the kawaii, like coffee lo-fi thing, it's like under 10K or under 15K, and it's like around like 4,000 uses, and then sometimes it does well. Like I literally just used an audio like that yesterday for a video of dumplings that I got from Costco. Yeah. And then that was like around 6K at when I had used it. So and the video right now is at around like 50K. So I'm like, for views, not like anything.
I mean, still better than me right now.
But
I'm struggling over here.
It's pretty difficult. I don't understand like all these tips and stuff that people had said before. Like sometimes it works, or unless everyone uses it and it no longer works.
I don't know. I feel like everyone has these tips, and I think it's a case by case thing where it could work for you, but it's not going to work for everybody, because I feel like we've taken into consideration every tips. I mean, you've even had a call with Instagram telling you like what you could do to like help boost your content, and I feel like you definitely utilize all their tips, but
it's not like the ones that I think they are helping. Because I had asked like the Instagram people, like there was like a call button, and then they schedule a call with like an Instagram expert, and then they were I was asking them like, oh, so like what are some tips to like with posting? Like I know that people generally say post at a time that's fit for your followers, but is there like a method that if you post that if it doesn't do well in the first like hour, this is like an example, like if it doesn't do well in the first hour, should you take it down or not? Or should you like leave it up? And then they're just like, oh, like you never know. And it's like, that was such a not very helpful answer. Yeah. And then I think at the time too, they were really pushing Instagram threads, which
right, they were.
Yeah, but I feel like for me, I'm not someone who had like Twitter, you know, before, so I'm not super like a texter, I guess, or someone who like writes a message and posts about it and it's only the message. Like I only do stuff with a visual, but they were really pushing that out, saying like you should use threads as a way to promote like your other content.
Your reels and stuff.
Yeah, and then repurpose it, and then do a call to action with asking your followers like, what should you post, or did you like that, or ask them like for their opinions. But I don't know how to get a lot of traction on that unless you're like a really big follower. Like,
same. I feel like I tried doing that. I tried cross posting between Threads and Instagram, and like it's done nothing for me, and no one engages with any of my stuff.
Yeah,
so
I don't understand the discoverability on Instagram Threads.
I think the only people who uses Threads are content creators and influencers. I don't think
That's true. Yeah.
I don't think normal people use Threads. I think most of them are on like X or Blue Sky or you know.
That's actually true, because like I didn't even think of that, because I don't think a lot of people that I see are like my friends and stuff. It's friends from the social media space. And then again too, I only see like businesses and stuff. So that's a good point, because but for real though, I don't know how you can discover people. And I guess the intention for Instagram Threads was to start conversations, and by doing that you create a thread because you're continuing the conversation with other people who maybe comment and stuff. And I guess I understand where they came from that, because for example, when we go on like TikTok and stuff, I feel like I watch a video, and then if I think it's really funny, I'm probably going to look at the comments section.
Yes.
So I have a feeling that Instagram created this platform so that it could encourage conversations like that and be funny like that. But I think without like something to prompt you to like visually, like I don't know how you can really start conversations unless someone maybe says something on Instagram that prompts. I mean, Threads. I mean, because I see some of like our bigger like creator friends like starting conversations like, oh, this is my opinion, and then people are like, yeah, I agree, and whatever.
And then it does start the conversation, but it's always something a little bit more controversial. I guess controversy does well, but I don't like
talking so much.
I get a little scared.
Like
I'm too soft.
I think both Tiff and I were not very like confrontational people. And I think if anything we're expressive, but I don't think we're confrontational, because we just don't engage in the drama.
We don't want the drama
too much. And it's kind of stressful, but
it is.
Why do you have to be like controversial, and why do you have to have like this certain level of upsetness and frustration for content to do well? Like, I feel like when people are angry online,
people they have something to say, and they want a place to speak their mind, which is great,
which is fair for them.
I love that for them, but sometimes people the delivery is a little bit rude or mean, and it's like it doesn't have to be like this.
And I mean, this whole like cancel culture like kind of started because everyone just like wants to hate for whatever reason, and people just like love the idea like, oh, I hate the world, I hate people and whatever, but it doesn't have to be that type of conversation. And then now everyone's so exhausted because they're like so frustrated with social media, and they're like looking for an outlet for people to be genuine and being happy, and they're craving that like self-discovery, like self-healing type of content. And it's like, well, it started because of everyone's like frustration, and it's like built up for so long,
right?
And now you want an escape because you want to like find self-healing on social media. It's like kind of a weird tug of war, I think. But yeah, the conversation stemmed really this one was like, what content do you think does well on Instagram or anything for you? I think
mine's just stupid things.
But
yours, I feel like, is different. Yours is like, I feel like your videos do really well, and they're always like your food ones do really, really well.
I think it depends on which one it is, because I do think like my food one is obviously what my platform is, but then I don't know how to gauge like lifestyle content. And then for me, my process for posting like a video on a food thing would be, okay, I go in to a restaurant, I film like some like three to five dishes maybe, and then in my like I'll take videos of the food. I'll video myself like eating the food, and then when I go back to editing, I do like a hook or something at the beginning of like the best content, and then I'll feature like I'll be like, oh, so let me show you what I got. And so I'll list out all the items that I ate, and then I'll be like, oh, I ate like I ate this chocolate ice cream, and then I'll pan like the ice cream, and then I'll pan me eating it. It's this many dollars, it's this type of flavor, or these are the ingredients. And then it's also something as good is the caramel ice cream. And then I'll list out what the caramel like prices and the like the ingredients. I'm like, and don't forget the vanilla ice cream. Like, and it's this price and this ingredients. And before that, order and I guess pattern of my content used to do really well, because I think lists are something that people like to see.
Yeah.
And then that's my theory of why I did content like that. But then now it's not like that, I would say.
It changes. I feel like social media is constantly changing and you have to adapt, but it's like there's no cookie cutter in textbook of like how to succeed. You just have to like trial error everything, but that trial error takes time to figure out.
Yeah. And then
like,
it might get outdated.
Yeah. Once you figure it out, it's like a month later,
done.
it's done. It's time for the next thing.
Yeah. And what what I've actually been doing now is like switching up the whole order of all the video, like all the videos. Like instead of doing like the vanilla, then the caramel, then the chocolate ice cream, I'm gonna do vanilla chocolate caramel, vanilla chocolate caramel, caramel chocolate vanilla. Like I'll switch out the order, and there's like, I guess even if I'm filming the same dishes, I'm trying to switch up the pattern so that it keeps people interesting, and then maybe not talking about like, I feel like I thought it was important to hear what the price is, because as a user, like if I'm watching a food review, I'm probably going to want to know like, okay, how much is this place, like what type of food am I expecting, and then like is the food actually good, like a review, like that's what I feel like I want to hear as like a user. But then here I think now it's shifted where people want to know the feeling or something, of
the
being
vibes
there. Yeah, more than I could be wrong too, maybe more than like the price and stuff. I'm really hanging on to the price thing, but
I feel like the price is always good to include. I feel like maybe because we're foodies, I don't care about the price anymore as much.
True.
I'm just like, I want to experience it regardless of the price. But other people probably do want the price at the end of the day.
Yeah, if I was like, I'm like, oh, I don't really care. Like, if for me, I'm like, I don't care what you feel. No, I'm kidding. Like, I don't, it's like, there's an extent, like, where it's too much blab, and then I'm like, oh, I tune down. But if you're really interesting, I'm like hanging on to every word. And I think that's kind of the direction of, I guess, the way people convey storytelling, because before, like, you know how get ready with me and stuff, they'll probably like oh, get ready with me as I start my day in like the corporate world or something, and then they'll go get ready, and it's like a whole step by step. And I think people used to really like watching videos like that, where it was like in order, because it was telling a story from like morning to night. But then now I don't think it's necessarily like that.
I feel like it's because also people's attention spans, they're not,
they have to go through a whole day.
I think it's people prefer shorter content, unless it's like something super super interesting that they're really curious about. They'll stay for the whole video.
I think the way that storytelling is now is like, oh, like this is like my origin, and then this is like the vibe, and what am I feeling in that moment, you know? And that's, I think, different than being like, oh, today I woke up at this time, at lunch I got this to eat. Like, I think it's because it's too predictable, so people know like, okay, this person's obviously gonna have lunch afterwards, or obviously they're gonna go drive back to work or something. But then with the storytelling of the way that we were just saying is like, they want to hear like, oh, okay, oh, it's same, I feel like I'm so awkward, or I felt awkward in that moment, like going along the storyline. And I'm trying to like think of an example.
I do think like a lot of people, let's say when they're telling a story, they make it so it's like, you know, this is what I used to struggle with, or I grew up having to struggle, but this is what I did to overcome that and then achieve my goals and like succeed. And I feel like people are really into those kinds of stories because it's not just like, oh, like bragging about my success, you know, like I have this, I have that, I have that. It's like, no, like I grew up with nothing, or I had to work really hard to get to where I am today, and people really like following that journey. I see a lot of that kind of content.
So what do you think of like those people, like what do you think of influencers going on like brand trips and stuff? Like, do you think people care about that, or do you think they not care about that?
I think there's two sides. I think there's people who obviously don't like that kind of content, or they're just like, oh, these girls, they're so spoiled, they get to go on these brand trips, and they just like hate on it. But at the end of the day, like I'm like coming from like a content creator and just like a decent, nice human being, I'm like, these people who get invited to these brand trips, they worked really hard to get to where they are today, right? And not all of them grew up like wealthy or privileged, you know. A lot of them, most of them, I feel like grew up with nothing and then made something out of their lives, and I feel like they deserve these, like they deserve to go on these brand trips. I feel like sometimes the brand trips, unfortunately, the timing of these brand trips maybe happen when there's like natural disasters or something happens in the world, and because of the timing, it makes the brand trips, like people who go on the brand trips, look bad, because they're like, people are like, there's like a fire going on right now in California.
True.
Why are you on this brand trip? And it's like, just like, I mean, I'm one of the few who had to actually evacuate from the fires, but I wouldn't want to take that experience away from someone who got invited on a great trip because of all their hard work. As long as like they're also using their platform to maybe help support and tell people like resources of like how they can help with these natural disasters or whatever else is going on in the world, then I think there's like a good balance. You know?
So do you think like as someone who's like a regular person and they're watching like an influencer, and like an influencer going on these brand trips, do you think the regular person is like getting jealous, or do you think they like don't care?
I think it depends on the person. I think if people are, I think there's definitely people out there who are jealous, who maybe, you know, wishes that was them at the end of the day. So then all they can do, because they're insecure, maybe they're hurt that that's not their life, they feel the need to drag other people down. But then there's like the other half where like, I think as long as, if you were to follow along this person's journey and you're I don't know, I just feel like if it were me, I wouldn't be jealous. As a normal person, I'm not jealous, because that person worked really hard to get to where they are today, and everyone deserves to like experience, you know, the success.
I think like I feel like watching like influencers going to like brand trips and stuff is kind of like a cool insight, in my opinion, to like seeing, oh, what maybe if it's like a brand trip for something, like obviously for a brand, like, oh, what can the brand do to like bring their whole like platform to life. And that's where I see like influencers and stuff, where I'm like, oh, they're able to kind of connect to people in a way that's like charismatic or maybe like more personable and stuff. And so watching like brand trips, I'm like, oh, okay, there's like real people behind this, real people that are like, they care about like humans and stuff. So that's how I take it. But you know, I was watching this podcast, I think it was with Bretman Rock and someone else in the beauty industry, but like Bretman was the guest,
Okay.
And then he was talking about like back then when they were in like the beauty industry, it was only like 20 some YouTube beauty gurus who were there, and they didn't really care about getting like profit from like brand trips or brand deals. They just wanted the opportunity to work with all these brands. And so one of the examples they gave was like their Tarte brand thing that they did, which was like there was a bunch of like beauty gurus, and it was one of like the first kind of brand trips that I think Bretman Rock had joined, and he was like a last minute add-on, but it was like he didn't get paid for that, but he was just like super excited about meeting all these creators, like getting connected with like the brand, but then also like other people who did content too, because he was from Hawaii, and so he didn't have a lot of
content creator friends who could relate.
Who he could collaborate with. And then it was until that trip where he started like really taking things seriously and really embarking on this whole like beauty industry, but then also like all the other platforms that he does. But yeah, I feel like I think that's something that people might not know too, that maybe brand trips, they're not always like,
it's not just all play, it's work at the end of the day. Like, I mean, even our Disney trip, right, at the end of the day, it's a brand trip, but we were taking content from 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. every single day.
Like Tiff and I were hustling.
Yeah, we were hustling. We were doing outfit changes midday. Like, it was hot, it was humid. It's work at the end of the day. You know, you're there to connect with other people, learn to collaborate with other people. Whatever we put on social media, obviously it looks like all fun. Yeah. But there's a lot that goes into it. So that's why I feel like I have so much respect for the creators who get invited to like the Tarte brand trips, because I know they worked really, really hard to get there, and they deserve like to have all that success and that experience.
Yeah, I think my wish, like, or I guess, what is your like dream brand collab like trip to go on? Coachella.
Honestly, yes, too. I would love to get invited by a brand into like a brand house for Coachella. You know me so well.
Yeah, like if you guys don't know, like Tiff loves Coachella. She like goes every year, and like I've only gone to Coachella like a couple times, but she's gone like all the time.
That's the one festival I'll go to every single year.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's like it's a festival where you can like dress up, and I think Tiff is really good at like dressing to the occasion, and so I think it's a nice like to a place where there's all types of genres at the music festival, so like it's very themed, and I think I like watching that, like seeing people's outfits and stuff. But yeah, I think if there's a brand out there.
What about you though?
Oh, I think for me,
La Boo Boo.
If you have a brand, I want to go to Popland, Pop Mart, and I'm like your greatest contender over there.
Nina's
like,
your biggest fan.
I will go to every single part of Popland, like every inch and corner of it, and I just want to go and see like the real life size of like Labubus and like Zmomos and stuff, and all the Pop Mart characters, because you know Disneyland has characters and stuff, so Pop Mart has characters, and they have them dress up and they do shows and stuff just like Disneyland. So Pop Mart, I'm really begging you.
Dude, I hope you and Pop Mart do a collaboration one day where they make make a figurine out of you, like based off you. Like a Nina character. Yeah, wouldn't that be iconic?
I know. Yeah, there's a character named like Molly, and she's like a little girl who has like blonde hair, and she's like really cute. And I'm like, I want to do that.
They should do a Nina who's a little Asian girly.
Yeah,
with black hair.
I know. I'm like your basic like Asian girl though. Like, like all the Asian girls
have to do it now soon for AAPI.
AAPI and better yet, Filipino Heritage Month too. You can embark on that. Like I think Pop Mart, there's a great platform for being like your Filipino girl. Like that's
Filipino bestie over here.
Yeah, I can carry like buckets of loads of chicken and stuff as part of it.
Jollibee.
Yeah, I'll carry Jollibee. That will be our first collaboration, first of all. But yeah, I think I would. That's actually a good one. I want to do Pop Mart, and then honestly, I actually really like Klook. Like, you know that app, that travel
app. It's so good.
I saw like a couple people we know who went on a brand trip with Klook, and excursions and stuff. It's mostly I think I've seen in like Japan and stuff, but I think they are like across the world and stuff, where you can like reserve and do all these like get tickets for cool activities and tourism stuff. But they had a really cool brand trip, and I think that's a really good like initiative where like, oh, you're experiencing activities and then you're buying it from like the app and stuff. So I think they did a real, like, watching their content, I think they did a really good job at like hosting like their influencers and stuff.
Invite us next.
Yeah, because I feel like I mean, especially Tiff, she's like very well traveled, and like honestly, I would love to go back to Japan and going to Taiwan. I'm actually not sure if Klook had activities there, but
I'm sure they have other services though. Like even in Japan, I use Klook to book private shuttle transfers from Narita Airport, which is like the further one, to the city.
Yeah,
and it was like $100 and super convenient, you know,
Yeah.
instead of having to take my luggage all on the train.
Oh,
my
yeah.
family, like 6 luggages, like
You
too
got that?
much.
You got that on Klook?
Yeah.
Oh.
And what was great was like you book it and they have like different cars you can choose from, and some of the speakers or some of the drivers can speak Chinese, which is like perfect because my
Oh.
family's Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah, because we did something similar, like where we shipped our luggage too when we were in Japan, but we didn't use like Klook, which I probably shouldn't have said that after I said all this Klook stuff. But then we did get it like from online, and it was like
Yeah.
we just show up to like the I guess like where we drop off the luggage,
Yeah.
and then you can probably look at our Japan vlog our Japan video that we were talking about it, because I think I gave some details on how to find it, or we gave it. But yeah, I feel like there's so much like things that are available for travelers nowadays, like with apps and stuff. But yeah, I feel like that would be really cool to do like a brand trip related to like lifestyle and like content in that way, because I love being a consumer. Like,
Yeah.
I love buying stuff.
I love spending money.
I love no, seriously, I love spending money. I love spending my money on eating. I love spending my money on clothes and
Yeah.
buying things that I
Yeah.
don't need.
Exactly.
But Amazon, that could be a branch. Ship me from A to Z. That's like their whole like tagline.
Oh my god, what if Amazon did a brand trip in the Amazon jungle?
In the Amazon, where like you're in the Amazon and they're shipping like a box to you. That's cool. You know, Amazon. That's a very great idea if you want to embark on that.
If you
Yeah.
just call me. We can
But-
discuss deets.
But yeah, I feel like there's like some really cool things where people go on brand trips and then they like again like make the brand more human and stuff, because I feel like when I watch like if I'm trying to think of brands that I really think are cool on social media, it's like Duolingo. I freaking love Duolingo.
yeah.
Like the owl, he's so funny.
Cute.
But like the idea that it brought kind of like a human element, but even though he's like a character, it brought like an element of like, oh, like relating to people through different languages, or like doing things that are related into a specific culture or something. Like
Yeah.
I'm only thinking that of the culture part because Squid Games just came out, and so they did this whole choreography to like the Squid Games like theme song, and so it was just so iconic. But I think like brands like Duolingo does a really good job. Like I actually think Panda Express does a pretty good job, but they're if you guys look at their Instagram and stuff, like I feel like it's definitely Gen Z coded, but then they have like a human aspect to it where it's like, where's the panda, or like how do you panda is like I think sort of their series. And so they do different forms of how to panda, like, oh, how do you panda while like making the food, and they might do like an interview or something with a chef making the food, or like how do you panda, like what's the spice level you're able to handle, and then they'll film someone like eating different versions of the spiciness. And then I feel like it's pretty like human community aspect, which I think is kind of missing from a lot of creators' platforms.
Another good one is Dunkin' Donuts when they did
Oh,
the
yeah?
Halloween series with the spider, and it was
Ooh,
like
yeah.
call me dad, or it was like something
Yeah,
daddy, because it was
yeah.
like a daddy long legs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so funny
Yeah.
and relatable.
Yeah, no, Duncan's doing a really good job because I think too they've been doing a lot of collaborations with celebrities. They just one that I'm thinking of is like Ice Spice. She calls her fandom Munchkins, and so they did a collaboration with her with like a Munchkin drink or something.
That's cute.
Yeah, and then recently they just did Sabrina Carpenter
yeah.
with her espresso
Yeah.
on I think it was like the 1st of January or the 31st.
Yeah.
But she was like, finally a drink for me or something.
Yeah.
And then it was like obviously espresso because everyone knows that song.
Yeah.
So I think that they did a really good job at like creating a platform and making it human with celebrities. So I like those collaborations. Those are really sick. They're pretty cool. But
One day.
yeah, one day
We'll
be us.
manifest.
Pop Mart, Coachella. It's a very large gap.
I know.
Pop Mart, Coachella. Yeah, but yeah, I think there's a lot of like potential as like the growth and direction of being like content creator, but I definitely think it's still difficult to like grow, and you have to continue like experimenting the way that you do content and stuff.
Yeah, it's just being consistent, being willing to change and adapt. And I think being consistent is the hard part for most people because, you know, from start to finish, creating a whole video takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. And I think, you know, when we post and we see that we just like our video that we put so much hard work into gets 1 view, it's a little discouraging, and having to just like push through that to I don't know, just pushing through that and like consistently showing up and putting out content is not easy to do. So if you're able to do that, like kudos to you, because I know how discouraging it is.
Yeah. Also, sorry, I was texting outside because my work is like messaging me, and they were like, "Oh, like no meeting today," and I was like, "Yes, no meeting today.
Perfect.
No meeting today."
Keep talking that.
I know, like I was worried because I really wanted to talk about like this like topic of like being creators and how we've been failing at reaching 100K, but obviously it's still a goal like for us to like keep growing like our platform. But I definitely think growing your platform in all areas in a different way is really important, and
diversifying your content. It's not just stocks, people.
Yeah,
social media too.
You heard it from her.
I mean, with like the TikTok ban, everyone experienced
oh my gosh,
that for like what 15 hours of,
oh god, yeah,
you know, like it's a little scary. Like a lot of like, not us, we're definitely lucky because we have diversified our content, but maybe other creators we know who have a bigger following on TikTok versus their other platforms. I can't even imagine like losing all of that in one day, losing all your work in
seriously,
one day, and not knowing like the future of it is very scary.
Yeah. Wait, who's the host with Remy?
Alicia.
Alicia. She came out with like not YouTube. She came out with a TikTok video recently, like right after the ban, and she was just like, "Hey, like," or I think maybe it was before the ban. I just saw it afterwards.
Yeah.
And
she always said, "Make sure to diversify your content."
And she always like tells people that, but
no one was listening. But now they're gonna listen. They're gonna take her seriously because we got a little taste of what could happen overnight.
Because she was like, that's what she was saying. She was saying like, if you're like a content creator, like of course you know how it feels to work from the ground up, but then when it's so important to diversify like what platforms that you're putting yourself out there, because well, like if one platform suddenly disappears, you still have something to like depend on and rely on, but you also can't see it as like put your all in like one thing, is what is the essence of what she was saying.
Don't put all your eggs into one basket.
Yeah. And it's also, again too, she's not to say like spread yourself too thin. It's just really like dive into the platforms that really like matter, and make sure that you have a direction for each of those platforms, which
I agree, because I mean, I feel like we've lived through a lot of platforms failing over time. Like look at things like MySpace, Zanga,
I don't know
Tumblr. Oh my gosh, I'm really aging myself over here. But you know, like Tumblr, like all of these platforms that we kind of maybe grew up with, they're all gone overnight. And who knows, that could happen to Instagram, YouTube, like we don't know, right?
I think YouTube has been like a continued contender.
YouTube will be there forever, but I mean,
but Instagram
others,
and
TikTok,
Snapchat and TikTok, they're all like,
you don't know
because it's so fast paced, and it's like, if you kind of think about it, I'm just like thinking, like YouTube, they really prioritize like long form content, right? And then like Instagram and Snapchat, they're all short form. If you think about this like in the fashion industry, like who would you remember as like long lasting brands? They're like Gucci and like Louis Vuitton and stuff, and they've been around for ages. And then you know how people always look down upon maybe like fast fashion and stuff, like buying things on Shein, and it's like so quick and fast paced. But then like the longevity of it is like Gucci's the one is known to have like better like quality clothes and materials, and Shein, like they have this stigma that it's not like the best quality.
It's not.
And stuff. But then if you compare it to like social media, like what if you're thinking about it, what would be more important, and what would you think, who has a brand? Like I think like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, like all those brands, they have a brand, they have a platform, and they have like this whole image. But Shein, if I'm thinking about it, I don't really know what their specific vision is. if you know, besides like
just
cutesy
pumping
fashion.
out cutesy fashion and making affordable options of affordable knockoffs.
Yeah.
I would say, right? Kind of.
Yeah. So no, but like yeah. So I think I'm trying to make like a comparison to it where you should really focus on like a brand, like the branding of yourself that is there for the long run. If you're intending to stay here for the long run, if you're only here for like a short time, then of course like little things like not little things, but short form content I can see being like really fast and you might get burnt out easily. But then with focusing on a brand like even people who are on television and stuff, like people are celebrities because they're on these like long form TV series or they're in long movies and stuff. So yeah, there's like a specific branding that I think maybe the shift of content creation should like kind of see the way the patterns that celebrity shows and stuff do. So maybe that's what the road to 100K would look like.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping us doing this podcast is also going to help us get there.
Yeah.
And just expand our network and our audience.
Yeah. Because I think it's about time. I feel like me and Tiff have just been like
stuck in the food.
Yeah, we've been
niche.
And we love food, but I think we also
have more to offer.
I think we definitely want to be able to share like other things that we feel and we want to find that like community. So that's why we are like starting this like podcast to like see where like our family like extends to, you know. So yeah, and I think even for me and Tiff, we met each other through social media. So I think there's a lot of obviously potential, I think, with people out there where I'm hoping that there's other people who could like relate to us or we can grow together with other people we meet and stuff. So yeah, I think there's definitely more of everything. Oh, yay, our meeting's canceled. Yes, like I know like Tiff has been talking like sometimes and I kept looking at my phone because I was like
I was like, oh, if she's looking, I gotta keep talking. So I'm just like rambling.
Yeah. No, but I love to ramble, so that's also why I think we do really well with each other.
That's true.
Yeah. I guess too, like I want to touch on like what is content that does not like do well or like what's habits. I'm trying to think like what's not good habits to have like as everyone's trying to grow on social media.
I mean, quality of your videos is very important.
What do you mean by quality? Like the type of equipment or just like the information?
Both.
Okay.
Like if you are taking videos and it's freaking dark and I can't see anything, like invest in a light. You know, it'll change your content in a very positive way. And then just quality of like the information as well. Yes.
This is the light that we all
Alex Earl light.
Seriously,
invest. I just bought my second one because my first one disappeared, but
yeah, because before I was like, oh, it's too bright, you know?
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, I need my light. It's too dark in here.
Yeah, you just don't want your content looking like potato quality. So that's one. Invest in a good light. And these things, they're not that expensive, you know? It's like less than $20.
So should people go to your Amazon?
Yeah, go to
my
Amazon storefront and you can find all the equipment there.
Yeah.
Dang, okay, I actually have to link everything.
I have it in my Amazon affiliate, but I don't promote the Amazon link. I just do it because I want to group all the things that I need to buy again.
Same. I just want a list of things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, and together. I know I'm gonna break something. So I need
my
own list and buy from my own affiliate link.
That's smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and then just quality of your caption.
Yeah.
Quality of your voiceovers. I feel like Nina and I have definitely talked about like just how you speak during your voiceovers can really change how people view your content. If you're just like muttering and it's really slow and boring and not lively, people don't want to watch your content, you know? But if you're really engaging and talking and there's just personality in your voiceover, it's definitely more engaging and people would vibe more with that.
Yeah. If you're not going to be able to, or not going to be able to, but if you're someone who is like me who can't really like talk in the moment, like describe it, I feel like voiceovers are my opportunity to show like my personality and have like a little bit of like me come out in those, even though it's just me like talking. But yeah, I feel like I admire those people who are able to like talk in person or like really be like authentic and just know what to say in the moment. But it's a journey.
Yeah.
And we're here for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I agree with you. Like your voiceover is kind of your escape to like showcase who you are and stuff.
Because you want your followers to get to know you on a personal level too, I would think. Right?
Yeah, I think so. I think like another thing on the whole like equipment stuff, I feel like everyone used to say, "Oh yeah, like phone is like all okay too," but I think the like emergence or reemergence of like nice quality cameras are like kind of coming back now, because definitely see people creating some like more professional like video reviews where you see really clean shots of the food or like the food being lifted, or people have like the DJI, which we're filming on right now actually, to use like for their content. I feel like that's kind of like a nice upgrade, because I think before people liked cameras and then they switched to phones, and now it's slowly back to good equipment.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, because we don't want potato quality content. People.
Yeah. What do you think about like, I guess your etiquette when you're like doing like, or when how you're putting yourself out there when you're doing collaborations and stuff? Like, I think on your journey as like a content creator, I think people should always remember it's like to be grateful of like the opportunities that have been given to them. And every opportunity that comes your way, like obviously you should be sure to be like polite and etiquette, because
be kind.
Be kind.
People are, I feel like some people are very rude, and they feel very entitled because they have however many followers on their platform.
Yeah, I know we've seen like bloggers who are freaking so entitled when they show up to like a collab or like an
especially
event.
since Nina also works on the other end of it, you know, like where she puts together media events, she invites influencers out, and then so she's had to personally deal with some very rude people.
I definitely have had like some challenges sometimes with like people who are definitely presenting a specific aura. But in any like collaboration, whether it's like a media event or like just an individual collaboration, I think always be kind to like the owners or the people inviting you out, because they're not like creators. They're not posting content all the time of their own. And so you're someone who's like gifting them that like opportunity, and then they are gifting you back with maybe something like product or like
experience
or
food
something, and stuff. And like their life is like cooking, like if it's in the terms of like a restaurant, they're like cooking for you, like their whole life is like
it's their livelihood.
Create dishes, and you shouldn't take like advantage of like for example, I've seen influencers or like food influencers specifically like ordering way too much food at a collaboration, and then I've seen them like just not like be the most kind, like maybe they just don't tip too, and then
always tip, you guys.
And
it's
I've
courtesy.
seen but I've definitely seen so many people like just order so much food, and then like the obviously for the restaurant they're like, that's like a lot of ingredients for them, and like to spend it on like one group, like when they could have been making money or profit or whatever, like from serving those dishes to like other customers who maybe were waiting to like get like those like dishes or get the attention from the chef and stuff. Like I think it's always like important to be mindful and do not go over, I would say, like be respectful and maybe only order like 2 to 3 things. Like
just don't be greedy.
I would say if you're going to collaborations, really only get like 2 or 3 dishes, and then if they are like nudging you a little bit and like to order more because they want to feature more things,
then that's fine.
That's fine, but I would still limit it to like 5 dishes. Like don't like try pushing for more, or like more or less, because
Yeah.
no matter what you think, like, oh, this restaurant, it looks so nice, like, oh, they probably have a lot of money or something like to spend. I'm like, no,
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 they
they don't. Like maybe they do, but don't abuse the way that like
Mhm.
you might think or assume of like those restaurants or any other like business for that matter. So yeah, just be respectful. Also, do not show up to like a restaurant and be like demanding like food. It's freaking ridiculous out there.
That's happened to you before
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, like I've definitely had people like come to a restaurant and they're like, "Oh, like I'm here for like collaboration. Like I'm an influencer. Like I can post for you a complimentary meal." I'm just like, like you might be on your own time, but the owners and like restaurant has their own time too. Like they actually have customers that they're like attending to. So don't just show up, and it's like the same thing as like scheduling like a doc. You don't go to the doctors
without
and
an appointment.
yeah, you should like coordinate if you're gonna like have that connection or whatever
I think
exchange.
That's wild that people do that.
Yeah, so do not do that. I'm like, it's like such a weird thing to like have to say, but don't fly. I feel like for me, I'm pretty. If you don't know me, I might be a little more private about trying to keep my content creation, and that's actually not the first thing that I talk to people about.
Yeah,
I'd rather not talk to people about like I'm of course I'm proud of my blog, but I actually don't say like, oh, like when if I'm meeting someone, like, hey, like I'm Nina, like, and they're like, oh, like what do you guys do for work? And I'm like, oh, I do food, like I'm a blogger and stuff. Like most of the time I'm gonna say I'm doing social media.
Oh, I just say I work in finance.
Yeah, so
I don't want people to get the wrong. Like I don't want them to befriend me because I like
do
do
food.
content or something. Like I don't want them to use me. I don't want them to befriend me for the wrong reason.
Yeah, no. After we've definitely had our moments like that. We've even had people come from like past old school, like high school and stuff that nobody would talk to us.
Yeah,
and then
now all of a
like,
sudden,
oh my god, hey! I'm like,
it's been so long. I'm like,
it's been very long. I do not know you, but like, no, yeah, seriously, I like, and it's not again to say that we're not proud of our blogs, but I feel like there's been kind of a is that a right word? Predisposition about if people have the knowledge that we do food or we're like content creators and stuff. And again, it's not to say that we're not proud of like being content creators, but I think people just perceive it very like differently. And for me to say that's what like I do, I don't want to flaunt either. I'm like, oh, like I get all these like restaurants and like brands and whatever like that I work with. Like it is still work for me, and
I think at the end of the day, it's a lot of work. It's not free.
And I think most people also kind of keep what they do for work kind of private too. They might say like what the industry it is, but I don't think people always say like where they work,
Yeah,
so,
unless they're like asked or something.
Yeah, so that's my equivalent to how I feel about telling people that I'm a foodie and stuff. But I think eventually, if I'm with other people, most of the time they're like, "Oh, did you know she's a foodie?" Like, it happens all the time. It always happens.
But I'm like kind of grateful that my friends will do that for me because it's like, oh, they're so proud of me. Like, I'll do the same for my friends too. I'll be like, "Did you know, like, my best friend, she sells boba candles. Like, she's the OG like Asian boba girl or something like that." Because I'm so proud of her. So it's like kind of flattering.
yeah. I feel like having the friends to like hype you up in that way, I think is. That's the nice way. And I feel like that always happens. But yeah, I think there's always like some like cool things about being like creators though, in general. So yeah, but as we grow as people, I think it's also good to match it and grow as a platform. And stuff. So I guess what would you do now? I guess I know we kind of talked about goals in like previous episodes, but what would be like a new direction that maybe you're considering taking your content as we go towards our goal of being at 100K and stuff?
Definitely diversifying my content even more and trying to be more active on like even just like Red Note,
Little
like,
red
I don't
book.
know. I went to Chinese school for so many years, and it's not. I don't know why it hasn't really paid off. But I still can't understand anything on Red Note. But just like posting more on other platforms. I think maybe taking YouTube more seriously this year. I feel like you and I in the past, we've
Yeah.
definitely tried making long form content. It's just we're so busy that it's hard to juggle everything, you know. But
Agreed.
now I think with this podcast in mind and like our like we're feeling very motivated and we're like very on track right now to like hitting our goals and just like really putting in the work. I feel like this is in itself is motivating me to work more on my personal long form content channel as well.
Yeah.
And hopefully grow from that and just
Yeah, I think same. I think on the way here I was like thinking like, oh, I should really like try to revive my YouTube channel. And like I think this is a very great like podcast where we can like share ideas and talk about it with other people, but I feel like you're right. We're kind of in a mode where we're excited and we're like motivated to try something new and then just expand how we can grow like as people and as creators. So yeah, I also feel like this year I'm also trying to diversify my content. I know that I'm going to try doing more Pop Mart and Labubu stuff. I'll be honest, I'm going to do it. I'm really going to keep like posting like all the places I'm going to go shop for Labubu. But I also think I want to explore more travel on my page, and then like lifestyle content, but in terms of travel I actually want to focus specifically on doing like Asia travel, because I have a lot of content from like the Philippines, Japan, like Taiwan that is just sitting there where I just took all that content and I'm like, I did not know what to do with it at the time, but I wanted to document it. And so I feel like I really want to try making content centered around like Asia travel, and then hopefully go back to like a different like Asian country or something. And then I think in terms of like lifestyle content, I definitely want to still do food, but I want to switch up the way I'm doing content where there is a little more like funny and personality in the videos. And I feel like I definitely need more videos of me just talking and speaking to the camera, or just like recording where I'm like giving real life feedback or something. But yeah, and then talk about other things in my life that's not just food, because like I mean,
because we're trying to expand from that.
Yeah, and I think I love to document experiences. I love to video like or film my friends and stuff. Like I do that all the time, and I think my friends are always like, "What are you gonna do with all those videos?" Because I just have them on my phone of like funny like moments or clips of what I'm doing with my friends.
In the end, they're always so grateful, because a lot of my close friends, they don't take pictures, they don't take videos, and so I'm the one who's always like, let's take a picture, let's do this, let's do that. And then now we actually have a lot of memories we can actually look back on.
I think it's important.
I know, important. We're like the historians of our but I love it.
I definitely agree. And it's funny because you know how like parents, they're like, they always take so many pictures, and then you're like, no, stop. And then now we're just like, we do it but we do it within reason, I think. Like I'm not taking like 25 shots of the same like angle, but I definitely think documenting the moment, and for me it lives through like videos and filming like my friends, because I think when I'm looking at something, I'm like, I'm remembering the feeling that I had in that moment. For pictures, it's kind of like a hit or miss. Like, you know how like you're taking a picture and you're like, you know.
I don't know about you. I'm like,
I'm
like, more.
I think like, but in essence, like that's where like filming and or taking pictures and like taking videos is like really important. But I think that's where I want to take my content a little bit more of me and not just psycho food.
It's gonna be psycho life.
I'm actually thinking about if I should change my username or not, but I feel like I'm too committed to psycho food, so I don't know what else to like switch it, because I want to keep that name. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. Well, I guess that's the end of our episode for
thanks
this
for
week.
tuning in.
Hopefully you enjoyed like our little blab about how we are not achieving 100K.
How we are failures.
But we are on the road still to 100K, and I think that's the dream.
So if you have any questions about like content creation, or you want to know more about our foodie influencer journey, feel free to drop some comments below.
And Well, you can follow us too on Just One Bite Pod on Instagram. And you can obviously subscribe to this channel. Yeah. We have episodes every Tuesday, and yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about, and stay tuned.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Bye.